Hello world, I'm SaneDev Guy. And because I'm doing this project in public with streams of videos, I've changed slightly the order I do things. These days, I want to make everything I work on have a visual component. So for example, when I first started this, the first thing I did was make this cartoony artwork because I wanted to have something to look at even after the first few streams. The first stream actually had this picture, and this was something I had created when I was learning Blender, and it's interesting. It's probably more realistic than anything I've done since, but it isn't the game. I actually had this picture up not only in the stream but on the background of my computer for months before, staring at it thinking I want to start the game. I'm getting annoyed because I haven't started streaming yet. So it was my motivation to start the stream and start making the game. Similarly, after the first little bit of the game, I had just created the artwork and I put it all in the Blender scene, and I put a little sun on there and I rendered a photo. And there was various things that annoyed me about this scene. But the most thing that annoyed me after staring at it for a few days was that it wasn't a game engine. It wasn't actually playable. So the next stream I went and I put my assets into a game engine. But the sidewalk was white. I couldn't get it to work. And I put that on the back of my computer, and that annoyed me until the next stream. Enough that when I started the next stream, the first thing I did was go back and try to figure out a better way to go from Blender to the game engine. And that produced this picture. This picture is in the game engine, so I'm very happy about that. And I put this in the back of my computer. I put this up on various accounts, so I would see this every day when I log into this computer. I would see this picture and I would decide, am I happy with this picture? Where do I go next? Do I need to work on this picture more? What is the next component I need to work on? To be truthful, I've been doing stuff like this for my entire career. Whenever I would get a new project and I'd have to decide what to do next, I tended to lean towards doing the visual stuff first. That might even be a user interface on a boring website where there's a bunch of words, bunch of numbers, stuff like that, and no pretty pictures. But I still wanted to see it with the fonts and the layout of the website. And then I would go back and write the code for it so that I actually had real numbers and real words and real things coming out instead of whatever I had typed in when I made the website first. So this is a concept I've had, but it wasn't really something I did intuitive. It's something I did intuitively, but not something that I did intentionally. Intentionally, and I will probably do this in this game too, intentionally, I always did the parts I was worried about the most first, so that if there was a problem, I could go and tell my boss, hey, we got a problem here, this isn't going to work. We'll talk much more about that later when we get to the point in a game when we're actually trying things that are difficult. But for now, even if I have to work in words, I want to have pictures, and I want the payoff to be something in the game. Ultimately, the payoff for the work, for the words, for the programming is that the game does something better. So I will always think about how to put something in the game first and how to make it work and ultimately have a payoff. And I will continue to take snapshots of whatever I did last, partly as a celebration of, hey, this accomplished something. So I get that good feeling throughout the week, and partly to decide, did I really complete it all? Because a lot of times I think, oh, I'm done with this. And then the next day I'm like, maybe I'm not. Maybe I forgot something. So now I get to stare at it between streams and I get to say, is this acceptable? Is this where I want to be? The answer is usually no, but what is the worst thing? What is the worst thing about this scene? And maybe the first few times I look at it, I don't like, and I still don't like, oh, look, this is very cartoony. And the styles are not quite the same across all the objects I've created. But the more I think about it, things like it's not in a game engine bother me more. Then I can always go back and change the art. But this idea of looking at what you've done, celebrating it, and at the same time deciding where you want to go next, I like it. I think that's a good idea. I think it helps the streamers. It helps the video. I think it helps me to make intelligent decisions on what order I do things in. So that's what's new. That's what I've learned from streaming, interestingly enough, and making videos. Make the payoff visual. And that's the end of this concept. I will bring more of these kind of videos of what I've learned streaming and things about the stream as the weeks go by. Until then, stay sane.